Elaine, and thank you, Cheryl, and thank you all for being here tonight. Today I'm going to talk about employment or solopreneur, the dilemma. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey, and in hopes to inspire you to become a solopreneur. So it goes back to when I was 22 years old. When I was 22 years old, I felt lost. I didn't know who I was, who I am, and where I'm going. I was just so lost. I went through a deep depression. I cried so much because I didn't know what college to go to. I didn't know what career I wanted to have. And it was very hard for me because everybody else seemed to know what they're doing. And then one day my brother came home, and my older brother Dan, he came home and he goes to me, Amal, I just heard about this book that's going to cheer you up. And I'm like, really? Okay. You know, I don't like to read and you don't like to read. What are we going to do with this book? So he goes to me, he goes, Amal, you don't understand. My manager read this book and it changed her life. It might change your life. You might figure out what you're going to do. So I told him, okay, you know what? I'm going to buy this book and I hope it's going to change my life. I bought the book. I dedicated every month for one chapter. I read the book and I did what the book said. That book taught me what my values are, what I want, what my passion is. And then I realized that I love art. All I want to do is art. Since I was a kid, I loved art. So I decided to go to art school. And when I decided to go to art school, everyone around me supported me. Supported me with my portfolio, with my application, even to get into the program. That program, 2,000 people apply, 60 people get accepted, 12 graduate, and 3 get a job.
Oh, wow.
And I was one of those that got a job. And I was so happy. I get to work for a corporate company. I went, I got the job, I was happy. The first day of work, I'm walking to work, and a bird pooped on my head. So everybody says that's good luck. But I went to that job, and I learned a lot from it. But I wasn't satisfied. Every Sunday, I used to cry myself to sleep, and every Monday, I didn't want to go to work. So I thought maybe it's the job. So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to get another job. I don't think I like this job. I went and got another job in my field that pays so much more. So I thought I made it. So I went to this other job, and it was great. But it did not make me happy. And I couldn't understand. Then I went back to that book. I'm like, I gotta read that book again because something's not working. And then I realized, you know what? I want to start my own business. So I started saving my money, and I started my own business as a graphic designer. And I remember my brothers and all the people around me supported me to get my first clients. After I got my first clients, I had $350 in my bank account. I decided to get an office. When I went to get an office, nobody wanted to rent for me because I didn't want to sign a lease for 2 to 5 years. But one guy told me, hey, listen, you could rent this office, and the day you don't have money to pay, you could just pack your stuff and leave. I rented that office. That office gave me more clients, more money. I expanded my business, and I grew it and grew it until I had a studio. I had employees, I worked with freelancers, everything was going great. But eventually, after many years actually, I burnt out. I burnt out, and I had major anxiety attacks, and I couldn't understand why. I'm doing what I love. So I closed my studio, and I went home, and I tried to understand why I burnt out. I tried to reread the book again, and it didn't do the same effect for me. So I went to chapters, and I read every self-help book there. And it still didn't do anything for me. Then I started getting interested in psychology because I wanted to heal myself. Because I realized I love what I do, but why am I doing it? If you don't know why you're doing something, you're not going to be successful at it for whatever reason. Eventually, after reading many psychology books and self-help books and going through a lot of inner change, I realized that I wanted to become a life coach. I wanted to help people grow. I wanted to help people grow their business, know why they're going into business, and how they're going to get there and how they're going to succeed in getting there. And today, I'm hoping those of you who want to transition from being an employee to a solopreneur, that you won't have that fear and you will find the right coach for you to help you do the transition, because it is possible, and you will find that fulfillment being a solopreneur. And I just wanted to mention one more thing. Why do people open their own business? It's not necessarily to get rich. It's not necessarily to be your own boss. It's for the game. Having your own business is like a game. It's exciting. You go to work every Monday and you don't know what you're going to get. You have all these people calling you for new projects, and it's always exciting. It's always new. You're working with other passionate business owners. So I feel being a solopreneur, like Alain said, it's a way of life, but it's a very exciting way of life. It's like a game that you get to play. And that's all for today. Thank you.